thought that was the end. What's up with this song? Who wrote this song? Oh. There's a button around here I gotta push. Okay, that button. There's a button right over here. Hello? There, now that's the end of the song. How you doing, everybody? It's Friday. Is it Friday? It's Friday. Monday, Friday? Is it Monday or Friday? I don't really know. Is it Friday? Hold on, let me check. Friday, October 15th, 2021. What's up? How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing fantastically. It's great that we have 138,000 people watching live today. That's great. That's great. That's so many people. It's buck wild. I guess I'm supposed to tell you to hit the like button, the subscribe button, become a patron or something, and then sponsor the show so I can work full-time on making you guys video content. I don't know. I'm supposed to tell you that. And we're Amazon affiliate around here, so if you click on any links during the show, will help. I don't know. That'll help out with production of something or whatever and stuff and things, and that's what's going on. It's Friday. It's been a weird week for your boy over here. Not really like crazy weird or anything like that, but the ongoing neighbor drama is just weird, bros. It's weird. I gotta tell you, I don't know. This is the first time in my life that I've ever been accused of being a Karen. It's the first time. It's the first time I've ever been accused of being a Karen. It's very weird. Someone who I've never even met before in my entire life accused me of being a racist, which is very odd because I didn't even know who they are. So I don't know how I could have possibly come to those conclusions at any matter. But it has gotten very weird, and a resolution will be coming at some point in time. I don't know when, but it's very bizarre. The weather around here has changed. It's cold outside now, and but yeah, it's become very odd. It's become very odd. Could I briefly recap the neighbor's situation? Okay, yeah, let me recap the neighbor's situation. So I want to say about 2 weeks ago, there was a dog on my front porch, which I falsely ascribed as maybe a pit bull, but it's like maybe a quarter pit bull and a boxer, I think. Boxer is the breed of that dog. Anyhow, large dog on my porch. Open the door. I'm like, there's a large dog just staring at me in the eyes. As soon as I open the door, Biddy tries to go out. That dog tries to come in. I'm like, no, I am not dealing with this right now. This is crazy. So I shut the door, and I'm like, I don't know whose dog that is. I noticed that it doesn't have a collar on it, but whatever. Maybe it's just somebody taking their dog for a walk or what, but it's not a big deal, okay? So I go inside. I start to go eat my lunch, and I come back because the dog, after about 10 minutes, the dog is barking at the front door, our little dog, from the inside, barking outward. And I realize this dog is still on the porch. And I'm like, why is this dog still on my porch? So I open the door. Now that dog proceeds to posture that which could be an attack, or it could be I'm going to play with your dog. I've got a little dog barking, and I've got this little dog trying to come in, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? So I get that dog back. I get the other dogs back. I shut the door. And I'm like, why is this dog on the porch? I open up our security cameras and realize that this dog has been on our porch for like a half an hour, okay? At this point, I'm like, all right, I walk around the property to the front. I try to coax the dog off the porch, like just get off of my porch. This dog will not leave my porch, and I'm assuredly not going to try to grapple with a dog to try and get it off my porch. It's clearly a high-energy dog. It's an unpredictable situation. You don't know if the big, unpredictable, high-energy dog is going to bite you or not. Who knows? I don't know, but I know it doesn't have a collar on it, and it's a large dog, and it's jumping and being very high energy. So I try to get this dog to leave the porch. It won't leave the porch. I'm like, all right, F this. I need to go back to work. Go inside, start working. The dog's up there barking. The mailman shows up. So I open my cameras, I look at it. The mailman gives the dog some treats. It doesn't bite the mailman or anything, and it proceeds to follow the mailman away. And I'm like, oh, I guess problem solved. I bet the mailman probably knows something that I don't, or he's got treats, or maybe I don't know what he's going to do, but the dog's gone with the mailman. So I'm looking at the security cameras. Then I see the dog follow the mailman, then proceed to run across the street, and because there's somebody over there, I don't know what it's doing, and I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Sort of not my problem. Maybe it's that guy's dog. I don't know. Maybe that's the dude, and he just ran home. No less than 5 minutes later, this dog returns to my porch. It's not that guy's dog. It's not the mailman's dog. I don't know whose dog this is. It doesn't have a collar on it. Now it posts back up on my porch, and I'm like, all right, screw this. I don't have time to deal with somebody else's large breed dog living on my porch. This is ridiculous. I have a small child here. I don't know this dog. I don't know what this dog is capable of. All right. So I call the police department, and I say, hey, can you connect me to the dog catcher? And they're like, oh, animal control. Yeah, we'll forward you over. Is this an emergency? No, it's not an emergency, but there's this dog on my porch. I just need animal control to come down here. They can scan the microchip on the dog probably and figure out what to do, take the dog back to wherever it's going to go or whatever. I don't know. They're like, cool. So I call animal control. I tell them that, blah, blah, blah. They're like, cool. We've got a couple people out working today. We'll have them spin by. We'll see what's going on. Animal control shows up. They figure it out. They figure out that it's a lady not very far from our house. Now, this lady proceeds to like yell and scream and start a whole big crazy altercation with the animal control people who come back, and then they want me to like file a complaint and this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Hey, I just want the dog to go back home. That's all I want. That's all I'm trying to do here. I don't have time. I don't have time to deal with this, and this is like your guys' job. You're getting paid a good salary to do this. You know, if there's a broken pipe in your house, you call a plumber. If there's lights that don't work anymore and outlets that have sparks shooting out of them, you call an electrician. If there's a random large breed dog that you can't wrangle yourself, you call the animal control, right? Apparently, this lady has happened many, many times, and that's why she's yelling and screaming at animal control. She's mad. She's confrontational, this and that and the other thing. Vicky finds out this is going on. She goes over, tries to talk to her. She yells and screams at Vicky. Vicky's like, all right, screw this. I'm not dealing with you. I have better things to do. It's a work day in the middle of the week, right? And it just continues to get weird from there between the animal control and blah, 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 blah. I'm hands off. I don't have anything to do with this at this point at all. Couple days go by. Apparently this lady has been fined by animal control because this has happened so many times. Apparently this dog has gotten out so many times. She claims she's been fined $1,000. Okay. Which, when I looked up the charter where I live, the law says if your dog gets out, it's $25 charge. If your dog gets out and gets picked up again, it's a $50 charge. If your dog gets out again, it's a $75 charge. So it's an escalating charge of $25 per each infraction of your dog having to get picked up and returned to your custody. Now, I don't know how you would ever get to the 1,000 number, because if it's an escalating charge, you would have had to have paid the $900. You would have had to pay the $925, the $950, the $975 to get to the 1,000 number, right? And I'm like, this is a level of absurdity that I don't even understand. So this lady starts posting out signs how she doesn't even know our names. She doesn't even know our names. So she's calling us Ken and Karen, right? And she's posting all these signs out in the alley about how we're like garbage people, and it's a bunch of profane nonsense, right? It's just a bunch of swearing and all this like crazy nonsense, this and that. And she's claiming that we're huge racists. Then she's going on Facebook. Then she's going on, what's the neighborhood app? There's like a next door, something. There's all these apps, and this lady is like basically saying that we're garbage people, right? Like, and I'm saying this in the nicest way possible. She's using the worst language you've ever heard in your entire life. And, it's one of those situations where we're just like, what do you want me to do? Is it somehow my responsibility to like take care of your dog for you, or what? And she goes, you should, apparently her stance is, we should have known it was her dog. Like, we live in a suburban area here. We're surrounded by houses. We're surrounded by yards with angry dogs in them. Almost every other house you walk by in this neighborhood, there's a dog barking like crazy in somebody's backyard, like slamming into the fence, going buck wild because you're walking down the street, right? Now, if I'm to give that ascription to all of the dogs in the neighborhood, that's how this dog was acting. That's how everyone's freaking dog around here acts. How am I supposed to know anyone's dog if it doesn't have, a dog collar on it with your name and your phone number? Like, hey, give me a call if you found my dog. How am I supposed to do that? And it's like, I don't have an RFID scanner in my pocket. I'm not animal control. I don't work for them. That's not my thing. So my whole point is this whole crazy thing has escalated to like this whole weird situation with a neighbor who like never had a conversation with ever, which is, I think in its own right, just the weird reality of America these days. And the unfortunate thing is like, I was actively thinking about this over the last week because it's just so weird. And it's like, I know a bunch of my neighbors. The neighbors over there suck. They're just awful people. One of their adult, like 40-something-year-old kids parks their car out front of our house and sleeps in her car all the time. All of the time.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, that's one of my neighbor's kids who's 40-something years old and sleeps in her car. It's nonsense in front of our house. I've tried to talk with those people like 100 different occasions, and they're just like, I don't want to talk to you. And it's like, well, you live right next door. What's up? The people down the street a little while ago came to me and said, hey, can I have all of your security footage from all of your cameras? Because my ex-husband has been stalking us and driving up and down the road, and I want to take the footage in to court so I can say that he's been driving up and down the street. And I'm like, why don't you have a security camera? You own 2 houses. You're a landlord down the street, aren't you? Why don't you have a security camera? What's the deal here? The people behind us were super awesome. They were fantastic. Then a young couple moved in who parties constantly. They party nonstop. The wife of the couple moved out because she couldn't take it anymore. She was like, this is just too crazy. She moved out. The party people stayed. So we've still got the party people back there, right? The guy next door to us is agoraphobic and doesn't want to talk to anybody, and he's a shut-in, and he's literally had a shattered, broken window, like a hole this big in a window, since the day I moved in here 4 years ago. Oh. There's a hole. Hey, look. Does he have the ability to fix it? Yes. Does he have the money to fix it? Yes. It's just not fixed.
Right.
I don't know. He's got, I don't know. It's ridiculous. The guy across the street who I was friends with decided that the housing prices here got so high that they sold their house and moved away. He was literally just like, this house is worth too much money. I'm selling it, bro. I'll see you later. He sold it, moved away. The people directly across the street are very nice, but they're like, don't want to hang out with people. They just don't want to do nothing. So like, all right, cool. The house next door was a weird young couple of a tow truck driver and his weird like kids who got in no less than 3 traffic accidents on a side street out front of our house. Okay. The lady next door was like a chronic alcoholic who had like this weird a relationship with a contractor who they continued to like fix the house up. They fixed the house up. They fixed the house up, and then she moved away. Once she felt like it was fixed up enough, she put it on the market, sold it, and moved away. Then a guy moved in who's a young business professional who does not want to have any association with anybody. So there's that. You know, like living in this neighborhood is not that great. It's not that bad. I'm not really complaining about it. But when it gets to the point where you start posting up signs about how like I'm a huge racist or whatever, like you're going to have to go fuck yourself at that point. Okay? Right? Like that's how that's going to have to go. Paula says, sounds like it's time to move. Leading into my next part here is that Vicky and I are probably moving. That has nothing to do with this weird neighborhood relationship, right? Has nothing to do with this weird neighborhood relationship. We actually like living here. We like our house. We like our property. We've outgrown it. Now, one of the reasons that we moved down here was for work. Vicky's work is very important to the lifestyle that we live. She makes a very good living. She's been promoted multiple times. We had to live in this part of the state in order for her to work. Due to the pandemic, here's the silver lining in this whole pandemic situation. Because of the pandemic, everyone in the company, basically her company, has been working remotely this whole time. As a gigantic corporation, they did all of this critical analysis, which all of us plebes, all of us regular people don't normally have access to, but they basically did productivity analysis, income analysis, how much money they're making, how much money's going out the door, blah, 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 called P&Ls and all that stuff. P&L's profit and loss, you know, that kind of nonsense. They go with this whole crack team of accountants and lawyers and all these weirdos, and then they go and they figure it all out. Well, guess what? They're making more money than they've ever made before. Productivity is up by 80%, which is a level of absurdity that I don't think anybody could wrap their mind around pre-pandemic critical analysis. So they have decided that everyone is going to be able to go remote from here on out. There are obviously people within the company that can't go remote, but basically all the people that Vicky deals with and all that stuff, they're able to go remote. So we no longer have to live in this area here. So instead of building a new fish room and putting up a new building here, we've decided to roll that money into buying a new property and moving elsewhere so that I can be closer to work, which you guys know that I work at the aquarium co-op. I would like to no longer make the 130-mile or 140-mile, 165-mile, whatever the heck the crazy commute is. It would be better to make that commute from a bigger property where the neighbors might have a little bit more of a buffer and have more availability to do bigger projects like I want to do. I'm running out of space in this property. Like, there just isn't a lot of space in this property. Like the greenhouse thing, I want to build a big greenhouse that runs on an aquaponics system. I can do that here, but it's limited to the scale, right? It's very limited to the point where I go, I want this thing to be 16 feet, and Vicky's like, we only have 12 feet. And I'm like, realistically, I want the thing to be 60 or 90 feet. And she's like, it's got to be 12. And it's like, well, because it's got to fit in this little area. Yeah. So anyhow, that's my big rant for Friday. Let's bring on our guest, because that's the whole reason we're freaking here anyhow. Nobody wants to hear my stupid stories about nonsense. But big shout out to Big D Smoke for sponsoring the channel today with a $20 super chat. That's crazy. We need lots more $20 super chats around here so I can just go into full video production mode, you guys. Okay? I've talked about it before, and I'm talking about it now. We have a metric that I have to earn enough money to do a job. You know what I mean? I have to earn enough money to do a job, and if YouTube's a job, I got to earn enough money to actually do the dang thing. And we're hoping to get to that point so that Alyssa and I can do more projects and not have everything be 100% out of pocket on our end. So that's just kind of where we're at right now. Obviously, one of the things that I've been thinking about doing is I've been working on a lot of videos and stuff like that. I'm probably going to be releasing them as members only and Patreon only. I think that's probably what I'm going to start doing here fairly soon within the next couple of weeks, is just start releasing stuff to members only and Patreon only, because I'm kind of looking at it this way, that like you guys are inundated with billions of pieces of content constantly, right? It's like every movie is ripped and put onto YouTube or Pirate Bay or anything like that. But even if it's not a piracy type situation, there's probably 90,000 fish videos you guys could watch today for free. And I'm realizing that I would rather just my audience see my content than anybody else. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, probably what we might end up doing here. But let's bring on our guest, Alyssa Bentley of fish breeding fame, fish breeder extraordinaire. Are you a master breeder?
No, actually.
You need to get a certificate, bro.
It's really hard to become a master breeder if you specialize in like one specific type of fish.
Whoa. Oh, is that the problem?
Yeah.
You need to branch out.
Yeah, you gotta be one of those people who like buys fish just to breed them and then sell all of them. And
here's
then
my
buy
Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
You got to do that. That's the
my list is pretty small comparatively.
Well, you're focused. You're focused on a specific
right.
plecos mostly.
Right.
Mostly.
I decided that I would rather be just like really good at breeding one type of fish and then get to the point where people could be like, I'm having troubles. Like I was hosting a female Snow White that was not breeding well with somebody else for like 4 months or so this summer. And the guy who owns her and has her again was like, I don't know, every time we try to breed with her, all the babies die, etc., etc. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do. And so now I have a bunch of Snow Whites, and she's all better or something, and she's going back living with him again, and I don't know, doing something. I haven't asked for an update lately, but hopefully she's doing good.
So did you trade a male, or no, you traded a female. Wait, you traded a male.
No.
Wait, now I'm confused.
Nope. He just lent her to me.
Oh, he just lent the female to you.
Yep. And then I gave her back in 4 months.
You didn't just karate chop him in the throat and take it? That would have been cool.
I mean, it
would have been cool
been,
if you'd done that.
The
You'd
problem
like,
is that I now have, I had like 190 fish to grow up. And I was like, maybe I should just raise the fish that I have and take like a female out of there and be like, and here's my new breeder. Boop. Meanwhile, I've sold like half the sellable size ones now.
Of the snowballs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How cool are they? Are they cool?
They're pretty cool.
Are they the coolest?
They look best on black substrate. I found.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got a white fish. You want a black background, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they
that's
look
just basic.
really good.
Isn't that just... Well, I don't know. Maybe that's not basic. Is that basic?
Well, so some people
I feel like it's basic, like, photography stuff, right?
You'd think so. The thing is like there's this whole, like, if you have your... Like with shrimp, right? You put them on dark. If you want dark shrimp, they're going to look darker, darken up or whatever on dark substrate. You put them on light substrate. Say you've got... I don't know. What are those? There's like a pale blue, like a blue jelly type of shrimp that you can get that if you put it on a white substrate, it'll pop a little bit better or whatever. I don't know. It's just sort of... Where was my point? Right. So some of my green dragons that I was breeding a couple years ago, if you put them on a light substrate, they would wash out to be like the color of wood.
Right.
I'm like, I want to show it, but everything is attached to
stuff. You can't lift
stuff.
the table up. You just
No.
Don't do that. You probably throw out your back. That thing's heavy. It doesn't look heavy. Like it seems unobtrusive, right?
No,
like as the table goes.
It's like this table's this thick.
It's
you guys.
hefty, bros.
Yeah, it's almost an inch. But then like on regular dark substrate, they would be really dark, almost like a dark forest green kind of color. And
Right.
eventually I'll have some back again. I don't have any right now, which is crazy.
Yeah. How much are you selling those snowballs for, or is it a secret amount?
Well,
It could be a secret.
so
It doesn't matter to me. It could be a secret. I'm just asking.
right. So
I'm
right
just
now
axing.
I haven't sold any person to person.
Okay.
I'm establishing buyer relationships with shops.
Oh, right.
And-
That was one of our topics we were going to talk about today.
right.
So because your fish breeding ends up being hamstrung by having a market, right?
Right.
Like you got to have a place to deliverable, right? You have a deliverable, you got to be able to like get them somewhere. Otherwise, you're just taking care of massive amounts of fish.
Right, because like there's really realistically only so much you can do with just like changing tons and tons of water.
Right.
And I don't have
Well, yeah. I mean, you get like 500 fish in a 40-gallon breeder or something. It's like there just is there's only a certain amount that you could just be like, we're making it clean. Don't worry, guys. And you're like, we can't even feed them. There's so many in here.
right, exactly, because they'll like with bristlenose, this is what we're talking about here specifically. With bristlenoses, the bigger ones will push the smaller ones out of the way, and so then like little ones, you'll see them get skinnier and skinnier and like trying to eat stuff, and there's nothing to eat because everything in there wants to eat the same thing.
Right.
And so you'll see like dead ones here and there, and it's really kind of depressing. Like if you're like, man, I got all these stupid brown spotty ones that nobody wants for more than $1, and I just want to grow up my super reds, but they're getting crowded out by the brown ones. And so like I have now buy-sell relationships with 5 different stores,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Because I know like one of the big issues with like selling fish to stores is that it's wildly inconsistent, right? Like
Yes.
there's no, like I remember, I would take in, well, I wouldn't really ever take in fish very often because you guys know I was doing shrimp forever, and that was one of the things. And I would like show up, I would show up with like 50 shrimp, right? And it'd be like, I'll probably sell them to these guys for like $6 a piece or something like that. Like it's pretty nice shrimp, and shrimp were pretty expensive, especially at the time. And they'd be like, well, we could take 10. It was like, what are you going to take 10 out of the bag? And then like I take the bag back home? Like, what are you doing? Like, no.
Oh, that's
Like, just don't even open the bag. Don't even disturb them. You buy them all, or just I'll take the bag back with me. Like, this is ridiculous, right?
well.
And it's just because that inconsistent. And they're like, well, why don't you call us ahead of time? And it's like, you guys aren't even good about answering the phone. What do you mean you want me to call? You guys aren't even good about like answering your phone. But I know with like some of the busier stores, it does have a tendency to work out better, right?
Well, so what I do is I try to make sure and get an email address, because it is, in fact, the year 2021. And most
My
of these
God.
stores
We're
have
out here in the future.
the ability to send and receive emails, and they'll have somebody who actually does pay attention to those emails. And so I can actually just send them a stock list.
Right.
Like, this what I got. Do you want anything? And then they can be like, yeah, I'll take 18 of these and 6 of those and whatever. And I can be like, sweet. And so then what I try to do, because there's Aquarium Co-op and Denny's are up north. And then Redfish Bluefish is also up north. And they're up on Whidbey Island, which, I don't know. Redfish, Bluefish, they're the ones that want my snow whites. So if you guys want those, he ships. And he's got them for a ridiculously low price right now, which is crazy. Anyway, not that this is a sales pitch, but yeah, so I'll like check in with all of them. I'll be like, hey guys, I'm swinging up north this week. Do you need anything? This is what I have, right? I'm totally willing to give you pictures if you want to see, but they're the same guys as last time. It's just more of them.
Right.
And and then they can be like, oh man, we just got this huge shipment, and I'll be like, shoot. And then they'll say, if you can contact me back in 2 weeks maybe, and I'll be like, all right, we'll do 2 weeks. And sometimes you get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and you're sitting there doing daily like 50% water changes on these tanks, trying to keep up with the output of nitrates and stuff and stinky water in your tanks, and that's when you contact a wholesaler.
Right.
And that's why I went to the wet spot actually last week and brought them like, it was like, I've got all these longfin brown fish, and I just need to get them out of my tanks. I need to get them out. They're not part of my breeding program. They just happen because I'm experimenting with stuff. And so they took them all, and it's the smallest return on investment.
Right.
So I had to drive them down there and everything, and I got like a buck of fish, and it was really, really, really disappointing with the amount of money, but it does mean that I get my tank space back. And it's the kind of thing that you have to just sort of think, all right, I need to get them out of my tanks. I don't want to just like clove oil them all.
Right.
I'd rather, have them go to homes.
You'd rather not just murder all your fish and like have them go into the compost.
Yeah.
Right. That's not good.
Yeah. Strange. Yeah. Right.
Well, I think one of the good things about the wet spot for sure is that they have the cichlid exchange attached to them. I mean, and if people don't realize what the cichlid exchange is, it's one of the bigger wholesalers.
Yeah.
They supply a lot of stores. So I think a place like the wet spot would be fantastic to be able to take stuff in, because they could always just go, well, we just put it in with the cichlid exchange, get them ready to ship out to whatever stores want them.
Right.
You have a much bigger list of customers, I guess, right?
Right, which is why like most shops, I think the largest amount of one type of fish that I've ever brought to one shop was 18.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, we'll just take all of them. And I was like, here's 56.
Here you go.
And I told the girl, Leah, when I left her with my fish, and I was like, hey, so when I have too many of these again, I'll just contact you. And she's like, yeah,
Where was that at?
The wet spot. Portland.
At the wet spot was just like, yeah, we'll take all of them.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like all of our fish. And so the trick is you can't go down there and think I'm going to get like $6 a fish. You can't. This is just not what's going to happen.
Right.
And
well, I mean, I guess it really depends on the fish though, right?
Right. It depends on the fish, but it's like if you got brown spotty fish, they're not going to give you a bunch of money for that fish, really. For me, when I'm approaching a store, I usually say, well, I'll take 25% of what you guys sell the fish for in the store, and that's fine for me. That usually works out really well. Some stores give money and some stores give store credit, and sometimes it's like, man, I just need some, I don't know, frozen bloodworms or whatever. You'd be like, all right, I got $60 at Midway, I'm just gonna go over there. Pick up some bloodworms and some other stuff. And that's how you don't go completely insanely broke with fish.
So that's how you can maintain That's how you can maintain not going broke, just trying to take care of a million different fish.
Right. The only problem is nobody carries those big 72-ounce tubs of Repashy locally, and that's what I buy. So I just end up dropping that $105 to get it shipped out to me every 3 times a year.
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
I think that's when a blue moon is. What, like every 3-4 months?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I think so. Quarterly.
I think you get the blue moon quarterly, right? Is that what's going on?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I think a lot of people, like, they want to get into fish breeding. They want to start breeding a bunch of fish and stuff like that, but they never set up the market ahead of time, which I think is probably one of the biggest issues that the average person will run into is like, oh, now I've got all this stuff. Now where do I put it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like doing some nerding out on economic stuff. And it was really trying to figure out that, like, so you have the three basic parts of economics, right? So you have the production, and then you have the deliverables, and then you have distribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, so you know, it's like, so what a lot of people are doing is they're only doing the first part. Like, they're just producing, and then it's like, well, where do I put it? You know, and it's like, if you had, say, 1,000 shrimp or something, right? It's like, there's nowhere to sell them at a couple of local shops.
Right.
Because the shops can't absorb it. Like, the shops aren't big enough to absorb, like, this crazy amount of creatures that you're bringing in, and hopefully them to be able to resell them, because they only have maybe 20 people coming in a day, and maybe only one out of those 20 people are interested in that thing you're bringing in.
Right.
So it's kind of like a really interesting thing that I think really gets dropped by, I swear, almost every like breed fish for money video I've ever seen, right? Is like, okay, like, I understand set up tanks, water changes, fish feeding the fish, and putting in spawning mops, and pulling eggs out, and then putting eggs in your tumbler, and blah 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 blah, and doing all this stuff. And it's like, okay, that's great. So now we've produced a product.
Right.
Now what do we do with it?
And it's
right?
a living,
and one of the
breathing product.
Right.
So you can't just put it in a pile.
And, yeah, it's like, one of the weird parts is that, like, the hard part isn't the breeding and producing them. The hard part is, like, where do I make money off of this now? And it's like almost every single video I've ever seen had just completely throws that out the window. And it's like, here's me just messing around in my fish room breeding some fish. And it's like, but you left out the part that nobody knows about. The behind the scenes, like, how do you contact a wholesaler? Like, who is the wholesaler? Like, even if you didn't give out, like, the email to the wholesaler, it's like, what's the name of the company of the wholesaler? And, like, maybe I could Google it and find somebody there who buys stuff or something, right? You know, and it's like, it's decidedly one of the issues that I have with, like, the content creator crowd. It's like, how well thought out is this content when all you did was share your experience of, like, here's how to do it, like, here's how to get this fish to breed. It's like, that's great information.
Right.
But then you see a title on it where it's like, how to do this for money, you know, and you're like, but you left out all the money making part. Like,
right.
you just, all you did was like, how to dig ditches for money. Get a shovel and start digging.
Eventually, someone will come by and give you money.
Somebody will just come by and, like, just give you some cash, I guess. And you're like, wait, no. I have a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to dig the hole. Who's going to pay me to do it? How do I accomplish that if that was something that I wanted to do, right?
Right.
So I feel like it's a comprehensive video that you and I should probably make at some point in time of, like, gathering up the fish, going down, interview some people, like, show how the actual exchange makes. I think we should probably do that at some point.
Okay.
We might be able to do that with, like, the co-op. I think we have permission with that because Robert will let us film him.
Yeah, if I ask him.
Stick a camera in Robert's face.
He knows who you are.
And I know the cichlid exchange guys have mentioned to me a couple of times to go tour the facility. Now, I don't know if they would want me to film there or not, but maybe they'll let us film a little bit.
Yeah. The next time
We don't want to give away their secrets, bros. Secrets.
Their secrets are that they have a lot of fish that they import, and then they box them up and they sell them to places.
They got a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Sometimes I pull up to the co-op and I'll see like a truck back up, and then there's a bunch of boxes that come out and they say cichlid exchange on the side, and I get like excited. And I'm like, oh man, I've never wanted to work for the co-op so much in my life.
You just want to do the unboxing.
I just want to open them up.
Well, I think I filmed a couple of the unboxings for the aquarium co-op, and then one of them was me being in it.
Yeah, that's where we got the peanut butter gouramis.
Well, and the thing is, the peanut butter gouramis, yeah. And like, I think because Corey was testing like who the audience responded well with, and I think he's been pretty open about that. But I think it's obvious that like a whole bunch of different people did the unboxings to like see who the audience liked. I was not well received, so it was like, oh man, I can't be the unboxing guy. Like, can't that just be my job where I just do unboxing videos all the time of stuff? And then it turns out this guy right here is not the great representation of unboxing things, which is like, man, I could have been the new unboxing therapy guy, right? Where I'm just like, here's a new cell phone. Oh, wow, it's got buttons. It turns out I don't. Turns out people are like,
he doesn't test well.
This guy's an idiot. He doesn't test well. Peanut butter gouramis. What's wrong with this guy?
Who's ever heard of that? Obviously, it's powder blue.
Obviously.
Duh.
Yeah, so, but yeah, those unboxing videos, you can see like how well it does that people really enjoy that. But yeah, Cichlid Exchange is one of those, one of the big wholesalers out here. I don't know how far that they distribute, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're sending stuff to Kentucky or like Mary Page Flynn's place. I think she moved from Virginia to Kentucky. I think she wrote that in the chat earlier. I don't know if they're sending stuff to Kentucky. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know you can still order personally as a person. I don't know if they do.
Well, I think if you're an individual customer, you want to contact the Wet Spot.
Yeah.
That's where they do the individual customer exchange.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
that's what
the Cichlid Exchange is only wholesale, so you have to own a store or whatever, some kind of license. You need your EBI number and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So how's that going? Now you don't have enough fish. Now you need more. So you got to get them. You got to get them plecos a breeding.
Well,
I was thinking about this a while ago with the pleco breeding. I know an old guy who does pottery like crazy. And I was thinking, man, we could go make some pleco caves with him.
Yes.
But then I was like, then I don't know. Yeah, then again, I don't know. I mean, we could.
Yes.
I could bug him, and we could go up and do some pottery barn behind the scenes pleco cave making.
Can you throw terracotta?
Yeah, I mean,
and then
terracoots. Yeah, I mean, I believe terracotta is just isn't. Hold on, I don't want to.
It is a
I
clay.
don't want to
it
be
does
wrong.
need to be fired. So
let's go terracotta, and then let's just go DIY because we'll probably get some kind of. Yep. DIY terracotta pots. There you go. It's like the very first thing is like you can throw your own terracotta pots.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It's like the very first thing. I was like, I swear, the many times I've been and gone to the, I guess the easiest way to describe this would be the art studio. Some of the studios that I've gone to and people are throwing clay there. I don't normally do that, but I swear I've seen them there throwing terracotta. I think it's just a clay, and then they just form it into a shape and then throw it in the kiln, right?
Right.
I mean, it's more technical than that because they're like, the temperature's got to be right or whatever. But I mean, people were doing this when they had houses made out of
Terracotta.
turds and hay, right?
Yeah.
Mud huts, right? They've been doing that forever. So I think. I'm just saying, with the technology that we have these days, you could probably pull it off, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, an at-home kiln unit, I think, is something like $1,200 or so. So, Basically, just needs to.
I don't want a kiln, man. I've moved a bunch of kilns in my life, and
I'm not.
I ain't about that game.
I'm not gonna.
And I don't know. Does anybody else notice this too? Like, when you go around a bunch of kilns and you're around that, it has this like very distinct, weird. Like the air smells dusty or something.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it has that like weird acrid air. So I've just never been turned on to be like, man, you know what I should be doing is making my own pots, bro. Because I'm like, then my shop's gonna smell like that.
Yeah.
I like my shop to smell like cedar and that mouse I killed the other day. Murdered mouse.
Ew.
Take that, mouse. Get out of my shop.
I don't like.
I wish there was a better way to deal with the mice. There just isn't.
There's just not, and they move around a lot, and so they're just gonna be more. And
they're shucking and jiving and breeding like crazy, nonstop. Let's jump into the chat here for a minute before we go to our next topic. Did we expel it, or did we get a bunch of questions here? I was gonna look through and see if we got a bunch of questions. Fortnite After Dark says, "I loved your vlog on sumps. Have you ran more than one aquarium off one sump?" Yes, I have. G Bear says, "I need bloodworms. Anyone know how many cube packs come in those little styros?"
Oh man, I have no idea how many. And it like
I feel like it's like 20 in the blister pack or something like that. Is it?
Yeah, but I
maybe
think
more?
he means in the styros would be like in the pack that the store would buy.
There's like 10 or 20 or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't
I've
know.
never worked at a fish store.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've only worked.
You have.
I've only worked as the cursory guy, though. I've only worked as the like,
Yeah.
hey, don't talk to me, customer. Get away from me. You know, that's the only way I've ever worked it. Even though, let me tell you guys, I am a really good salesman. I'm really good at sales because I'm like, I don't want you to buy anything. Just go home and make it out of some clay in your backyard. Make a kiln out of your stove. Go crazy.
Honestly, the only
Don't
reason
buy this. It's $9. Do you know how long it takes you to make $9? 900 years.
something like that.
So
yeah.
just go make it from scratch.
Do you want the main reason why I would want to make my own caves out of terracotta
So that they're big enough.
is so that they're small enough for my my claroplecos.
Right.
Because they don't, like, yeah, you can get the little shrimp tubes, you know, and put something on the back, like glue a slate or whatever to the back. But I would much rather just have a little cave that I can stick in places. And yeah, that's why. Because it's like impossible unless apparently if you live in in Europe you can get them, but I'm not going to pay.
Which ones are you trying to get?
I just need small for Ancestris Claro. They're like a really small little pleco.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And they need
You want
to
like,
be a cave with a back.
right.
So they need to be like just under an inch or an inch.
Well, I was wondering, like, because I remember seeing some of those little tiny plant waters.
Mm-hmm.
Terracotta, what are they?
The
Plant
terracotta
spikes?
plant watering spikes, yeah.
Yeah, that might come up. Plat. You know what sucks is when you forget the letter N in plant, and that's like not a word that you're trying to miss. You're not trying to be about. Yeah, the problem with the plant spikes is they don't have like a flat or rounded back. They get like smaller as they go in, right? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing, but I feel like it's like lacking a little bit of design for the thing that we're going to use it for, which is not what it's designed to do.
Right.
So that's partially our fault. But also, wait, does somebody make pleco caves? That would be my question. Pleco caves. The only pleco caves that I ever saw was stuff that's like this. Like this one's $10 or no, $11. then you add in some tax and some shipping for one. You know, like that's not good. You can't do $10-11 for one cave. We need lots of caves, man. We're breeding out here, bros.
Yeah, I need like a pile of a dozen.
Yeah, I need like 20 of them or something, and then you're like, this is so much ridiculous amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
This
yeah,
is
like
kind of
those
what I was
shrimp
thinking right
tubes?
here is these little shrimp tubes.
Yeah,
right?
so those don't have a back.
Those don't have a back.
Yeah.
And then now we have a problem. Although you could just kind of like
Glue a piece of slate.
You could just. Well, yeah, but here's the thing: we could use a tile saw, a tile hole saw that fits that hole, and then you could just make a little plug that goes in the hole there. You silicone it in, and it wouldn't go anywhere. That would work.
Oh, that would work.
God dang! You know, we're gonna have to make our own. Screw it. Yeah, I mean, we might as well drive somewhere and fire up a kiln and a slow throwing table or whatever. I don't. What do they call that thing? The table that they throw clay on?
I don't know.
What do they call
now
that
I
thing?
can't think of it.
All
All I know is that if you do
clay throwing table thing. I don't know. What's that thing called? A wheel. Oh, it's called a wheel. Pottery wheel. Duh. Duh. I feel like an idiot now. Sorry.
peanut butter gourami,
Thank you for showing up for the peanut butter gourami and not
Clay
knowing
throwing
a
table.
pottery wheel. It's called. I'm a freaking idiot. Self-ascribed dum-dum over here. Okay, so this is pretty expensive. This dang thing's $105, and it's only getting 4 stars. I feel like $105 you should get something that's got more stars. More stars, right? More stars.
want all the stars.
We want all 5. We want 5 stars. Cuz how did that go? Like what was it like Biddy, she eats likes. When you hit the thumbs up on the video, that's what Biddy lives off of. She lives off of eating people hitting the like button. The little
She's a
bitty
little
brown
chubby
dog.
little dog.
That's why she's fat. Yeah. Because people hit the like button so much that Biddy Brown always has snacks.
It's good though because it means that she's happy.
Oh, here's like a little guy that gets good reviews. It's been reviewed 60 times.
Oh.
So generally that would mean that the bots are probably outnumbered by actual reviews, but who knows? Somebody named Beetlejuice says they're undecided about this product and wrote what looks to be 1,000 words. Amy D. Thibodeau, that doesn't sound like a real name,
It doesn't.
is in love with this wheel. And that also doesn't sound like something a human would type out. I'm in love with this pottery wheel. I'm in love with it.
Also, the picture she posts looks like she framed it specifically for her Pinterest
I haven't
wall.
used a wheel since high school, and this has been terrific. Okay. I don't feel like... I feel like fake people talk about when they did something in high school. Like robots. You know what I mean? I don't know if we can trust these reviews. I don't know if we can trust these Amazon reviews. But in case you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, here's a sponsored link so that you can go buy stuff off of Amazon or not. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. But we are sponsored if you want to go buy a pottery wheel and make your own Pleco caves. Placo.
Or you can say
Placostomus.
Plico if you want.
Placostomus.
If you want to sound like the old guys in the club.
No, I don't want to sound like
Plico?
the old guys in the fish club. I know all those old guys, and I don't want to sound like those old guys. And by the way, I know all of those old guys from every fish club ever that has ever existed, whether it's in Netherlands or Germany or Vietnam or America. It doesn't matter. I know all of them.
And that guy too.
And
Yes,
that
the
guy
one
too.
that you're thinking about too. Yes.
Yeah. But the one specific old guy you're talking about, I don't want I don't want to have anything in common with that guy other than we're both happen to be humans.
Yeah. And
That's it.
And
That's
I
it.
see I hear other people pronounce it that way too. And it just kind of
Plico?
yeah. Plico. And
It's
I'm
not,
like,
it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel
But-
right.
how did...
Did you say
Is it a Plecostomus?
plecostomus? Did you say that? And I've heard them say that. And I'm like, you mean plecostomus? Like, you... Hold on. Should we do how to pronounce? How to pronounce plecostomus. How to say plecostomus. Here we go. Let's see. We're going to hear it. You ready? Who's ready for it?
Plecostomus. Plecostomus.
Plecostomus? Mm-hmm. Plecostomus. I guess we got to throw the stomus in there. Hold on. Let's see what this one says.
Plecos.
Oh, this one says plecos.
Ple-
We can't trust that. It's a robot.
Pleco.
The robot. I don't trust the robots. Let's...
Plecostomus.
Plecostomus? So I say plecostomus,
Yeah.
which is probably not right. So plecostomus?
Plecostomus.
Plecostomus. Plecostomus.
Plecostomus.
That makes it sound like
Pleca.
a dinosaur.
Pleca.
I like that.
It has a dinosaur vibe. I'm with you.
They do kind of look like dinosaur fish.
Oh, here we go.
Demis.
Plecostomus.
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 Plecostomus. So plecostomus is winning out of all of them. And none of them say pleco. So,
Well, except for that one robot.
except for this one robot pronunciation guide, which does not seem accurate. So we can't trust it, you know.
Yeah.
So we just go with pleco, and we'll be good.
Yep.
Oh, the Fish Tank Barn is using his membership, what is it? Message. His membership message. Look at that. He's using his the Fish Tank Barn membership message, which I wonder if you only get one. Do you only get one, or can you do it a bunch?
I have...
Fish Tank Barn, try to do it again, and just tell me about how to say plecostomus. But his highlighted message says, "Oh, come on, you have to love the old fish club guys, LOL."
I think it's
I
just...
don't have to. I don't have to. I will when they provide a good reason for me to. I will. But some of them are just, yeah, it's just a bit much. It's a bit much to deal with. I'm pounding rivets as we speak. There we go. That's what we're talking about.
Nice.
Steven, did you figure out your racks for your tanks? Oh. Well, that's what it was in response to. Sup, Corvus, lurking while I set up a rack for 240 breeders.
Ooh.
Not bad. That's good. I'm into it. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you. It's a good thing. 240 breeders doesn't feel like too outrageous, so it's good. I think if you were like, I think if you were doing like 40 breeders, I'd be like, whoa. If you were doing 2, I'd be like, all right, that seems reasonable.
Yeah. 240 breeders. I mean, I've got a couple stacks of 40 breeders.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Oh my God, we're getting blown up by membership messages. So S says I think it's every month. Oh, so every month you just get one? Is that it?
Huh. I don't know.
I
I've
feel
never
I
tried.
feel like people should be able to get more than just one. More than just one a month.
Huh.
Right? Does it feel like it should be more? I feel like it should be more than one a month.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any producers on here, so maybe if you're at a higher level, a higher dollar amount, maybe you get more, but it seems like it's once a month. Fish Tank Barn just confirmed it. It's once a month.
Okay.
Once a month you get to post a membered post.
That makes
'Cause
sense.
I guess you got to make it count. You should probably type out like a big long dissertation or something and just post it in there. So it's just big and you just occupy the whole chat. Like, what's up
Just
now?
like,
I came here to occupy the zone. Fish Tank Barn with a $5 super chat says Plecostomus needs to be dropped now on your channel. I mean, if I had my board set up right now, I could do a Plecostomus drop, but I don't have it set up right now because I'm building a rack
Plecostomus.
for it. You guys don't care. You guys do not care. But my sampler and Olivia stole my MIDI keyboard, so I haven't been doing sampling in the last week because Olivia stole my MIDI keyboard. I just couldn't refuse.
Well, I mean, she's
pretty darn cute, dude.
she's got like sentences and stuff that come out of her face now.
She's
so-
got full-on speech power.
Yeah.
So the other day she was like, "Daddy, I need a drink of water. I need a drink of water. Can it be ice water?" And I was like, "Yeah, it can be ice water. I'll get you ice water." Okay. So I go get it. She was like, "Oh, I need some water. Really bad." And I was like, "Okay." So I come and give her water. And she's like, drinks the water. And then she goes, "Okay. That's much better." And I'm like, Who are you? Who is this? Who is this person?
When did you become a college student?
Yeah, I don't know. What's going on? Dang, thing's weird. Super weird, you know what I mean? So, but good times, nonetheless. She's pretty rad, but she stole my MIDI keyboard. Fish Tank Barn says the MIDI keyboard will now be toast. Actually, believe it or not, it will survive. I'm sure it will. It's a traveling keyboard, so it's designed to be dropped by roadies and loadout people loading it on stage. So it should be fine.
Oh, okay.
And she won't get too aggressive with it. She'll just bonk it with stuff, and it in worst case scenario, it breaks, and then we all cry, and I'll have to go
Get another one
to do a job for somebody. Heavy emphasis on the job, or do a for somebody job. Make money. There we go. That's a word. Pecco is having the 50% off sale on tanks, so it's a great time to upgrade if you need to. I guess everybody loves the $1 per gallon sale, all that kind of stuff.
They stopped doing it $1 per gallon. Now it's just 50% off.
Now it's just 50%.
But it's still pretty close to the same.
But I gotta
thing.
tell you, like, I had conversations with some of the behind the scenes people of that, and you realize that it's literally them feeding you into their ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole reason that they do it, is so that you buy all those consumables that are wacky markup.
Yeah, I'm
That's why
like
they
the
want-
worst customer for them for that.
Yeah. The only thing you buy from them is their dollar thing.
Yeah. I'm like, yep, thanks, and bye. And they're like, just that? I'm like, yep. You know, we got fish for it. I'm like, no, I got fish.
So these membership posts here, Mikey Fishy says, "I'm not 33 months cool."
Oh, that's okay.
Which
You
is
could just come
understandable.
back, man.
It's understandable. You just keep it keeps building every month. It goes up by 1 every month. But big shout out to the Fish Tank Barn. 33 months. He's one of the people that's been here. OG member of the channel. I appreciate you, bro. I do want to come out and hang out with the Fish Tank Barn. I think I might. It would be funny. I think he's in Michigan, right? I think he's in Michigan. Yeah. I think it would be funny
Middle
to fly
America.
out. I think it would be
Somewhere where
funny
it
to
gets
fly
cold.
out to Michigan and then just go hang out with Mike. Mike is the Fish Tank Barn also. There's lots of Mikes around here.
That's true.
It's hard to keep you all straight. There's a lot of you. Just like fly out there and just go to the Fish Tank Barn and hang out with Mike and then fly back and be like, what?
Well, I
To
mean,
every other person in Michigan, like, what?
but if you
What
go
do you
out
want me to
there,
do? What do you want me to do? Like,
are you gonna
visit
like
you also?
have like barbecue and stuff too?
Well, we're gonna eat barbecue.
Heck yeah.
I mean, legit. My God, you got so excited about barbecue.
I was like, yeah,
You're
barbecue.
You're like dropping F-bombs like, fuck, barbecue! God, get it! Oh, barbecue!
We've
Respect.
been eating less meat
I
because
respect
it's
that.
expensive, and so now I'm just like, barbecue, so much meat.
Should we just barbecue some stuff? We should run the smoker, man. Let's do it. It's only cold and rainy outside. It's fine.
right?
We could, yeah. I got 2 frozen brisket in the freezer. Maybe we should thaw one out and give it an old brine.
Yeah.
Get it ready to go.
Maybe we could get Justin down here,
The king
hang out.
of the
He's nice.
the king
He'll like
of
your
barbecue.
dog.
The king of barbecue is brisket, by the way. Like, if you have garbage brisket, you're not a barbecue place.
Yeah.
If you don't have primo brisket, just shut down your barbecue place. Close the door. You're out of business because this is garbage. This is trash.
So right now I've got.
And don't argue with me about it because you know it to be true. It's
Oh,
a
I'm not
factual
going to
statement.
argue with you. I'm just
All right,
talking
good,
about
good,
something.
good. I was going to say it's about to get heated in here if you're going to be like, no, you could be a barbecue without brisket. Like,
No, I have
bro.
in my memory of like really excellent types of meat.
Right.
So far, the best porterhouse steak I ever had was at the Metropolitan downtown Seattle.
Yeah, the Met does pretty good.
The best leg of lamb I ever had was at this extremely extravagant wedding I went to in
Right.
Los Angeles. And the best ribs I ever had was made by a former friend of mine in his backyard.
Oh,
And was like
former
spent
friends.
doing it like for
You
a
gotta,
year,
you
like
gotta
a
those
day.
former friends. You know what that's
Yeah,
like. You know what that's like.
yeah,
You're like, formerly my friend. How about
yeah.
get out of here,
Yeah,
jerk.
he's too good for me now. I'm pleb. He's not. So.
Oh, is he like rich or something?
Oh.
Did he become rich?
Yeah, very
Oh.
much so.
Well, damn it. We should have kept him as a friend. Maybe he could be a sponsor of the channel. What a
No, he wouldn't
dingus.
have been interested.
We could have forced him to do it.
He was only peripherally a friend. He was a friend because he actually just married one of my friends, and then now my friend no longer talks to any of us.
Ugh.
So
That's a bummer, dude.
yeah, it was really disappointing.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in everyone involved.
Yep.
Every single
Anybody
person.
who ever goes into
You know
that
what?
whole thing.
Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna rephrase that. I'm disappointed in every person. Period. Just everyone.
Mhm.
As soon as we get to 8 billion, it'll be 8 billion people. I'm disappointed in. And by the way, do I include myself in that number? Yeah. Yes. I'm disappointed.
Oh, I just assumed.
Yeah, I'm included.
Yeah.
Just in case anybody needs clarity.
Nah.
Anyhow, let's not talk about your ex-friend. Your ex-friend sounds like a dingus. Let's talk about the Met. The best steak you ever had was the Met?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you that don't live in the area, the Metropolitan Grill is like it's the gold standard steak restaurant in Seattle that's been around like 100 whatever years. So even those old-timey guys that wore monocles and like walked around downtown like, I own all of you people. That's where they ate back then.
Yeah.
And it stayed traditionally old school. And it's the kind of place that you would go if you're having an anniversary or I don't know. What's an event that people would celebrate with an expensive dinner?
A wedding.
Well, you wouldn't have a wedding there, though.
No. But you would have like a engagement or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Something good happened, and you were like, let's have expensive dinner. You would
Right.
go there.
We finally retired.
Yeah, or retirement or something. Yeah, but one of my big complaints about that place, so I've eaten there a bunch of times because I'm just a baller, bro. No, actually, I just know a lot of people in the industry, so they would invite me to come down. And I'd back in the day, I'd bring a girl down there because, she'd
Oh
be
yeah,
like,
it's like
wow,
super points.
steak dinner. I'm impressed. And I'm like, so back then I would be like drinking single malt scotch and, crazy stuff off the shelf and eating a big steak and then thinking I was cool and realizing that like that had later on realizing that had zero appeal to any woman on the planet. Like realistically, like, let's be honest here. There's a million other dinners you could have gone to that would have been like a better idea, but still, that's what I was doing. Now, my big complaint about that place has always been you get a steak and then all the other stuff is a la carte,
Yeah.
right? You don't get like a potato or some kind of starch or some kind of vegetable or anything like that. If you're like, I'll have the porterhouse, they just bring you the porterhouse. That's it. And they're like, here's a knife, and you're like, you're like, okay, is there like a green bean around here or like a piece of asparagus or something I could put on here? And so one time I was there and I was like, yeah, I want some, I forget, I'm trying to remember if it was green beans. Yeah, it was green beans and a potato. I wanted some mashed potatoes. So I was like, could I get some mashed potato and some green beans? And they were like, yeah, oh, those are a la carte, which they're like $22 or something per plate of the a la carte mashed potato and green beans, right?
Yeah.
So now suddenly the meal is an extra $50, but they don't want to feel like you're being cheated. So they bring out like a pile of mashed potatoes that is like, it's enough for 8 people to have like a regular amount of mashed potato, and then a boat, like this big boat full of green beans. And it's like, hey bros, just add $5 to the steak and bring out a little bit of mashed potato and a little bit of green beans with it.
Yeah.
Problem solved. I don't want to take these green beans home, you know?
Right.
And you better not be giving them to somebody else. You're probably just throwing them in the trash, right?
Right.
You know, but it was just like, what is this? You know, can I get just a little bit of green beans with my steak here? Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
So at the time, for me, I was oh man, it was ridiculous. So I was lifting heavy every day. And then I had a physical job, and I had cardio after work every night, and I was doing strict keto diet.
Strict.
Yeah, very strict.
Strict keto.
And so not having potatoes be pushed on me was a good thing. And so when I had that 30-ounce porterhouse steak, and I ate all of it, and I had room for more, because I was always starving for that kind of thing. And yeah, so we had that, and then the charcuterie with the
How is that keto? Like, you're hungry a lot, right?
no.
You're just like, whatevs.
So the thing is a lot of people still try to trim the fat off their meat if they're going keto, which
Well, you
is
can't do that.
You can't do that. You have to
eat the
have
fat.
calories.
Yeah, you have to have fat too.
Yeah,
Like
you
if
have
you're
to.
only eating lean meat, what is that? What is that protein deficiency thing? Like if you eat nothing but rabbit, that's how they figured it out. Like if you eat nothing but rabbit, you like die. Because
Yeah, it's not a protein deficiency,
it's a
but you
fat.
don't have enough fat.
Yeah,
'cause-
well, yeah, it's a protein, not deficiency, but disease, right? I
Yeah.
think is the word I was looking for. It's like some disease, like you get only protein with nothing else to like break it down or whatever. It's a weird, it's super weird, but like, so yeah, you better eat the fat.
Yeah, you gotta eat the fat, and so
Can you just eat some cheese?
well, you have to be real careful with the cheese, because
Man,
if you're
get out of here!
You do.
I don't want your stupid diet if I can't have cheese.
well, you can have cheese, but you can have like the hard cheeses.
I need unlimited cheese, bro.
Not supposed to have the soft
You
cheese.
can appoint.
So you can have
you cannot
Asiago.
appoint
You can
a
have.
single limitation on my cheese intake, or I'm not into your diet.
I'm just saying that's just what the
You
thing
could say
was.
you could put a limitation on my pork rib intake, and I'd be like, all right, I'll deal with that. Or like steak or red meat or something like that. But cheeses, bro, get out of here. It's like the only thing worth living for anymore is cheeses.
Right. And so we could have.
You got to accept the cheeses into your heart.
Do you accept the power of Jesus into your heart?
Do you accept cheeses into your heart? Jesus! Oh!
Do you hear that? That's Jesus knocking. Jesus wants to be with you today.
Have you read the 10 Commandments of Jesus?
All right.
Those are probably commandments I could get behind, right?
Heck yeah.
Okay, hold on. Speaking of the 10 Commandments, what's the thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, right? Like, so obviously you're not supposed to sleep with your neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to do any of that, right? Like adultery, that's all bad. We all know that that's bad.
You're
Don't
also
do
not
that.
supposed to lust after her.
If you're right, well, yeah. I mean, don't lust after her, but like, can you appreciate the fact that there's other attractive women just on the planet? Like, can you
No.
just have that in your brain and be like,
Nope. You're supposed to
No.
ask for forgiveness for that kind of horrible thought crime.
it's a thought crime,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which always makes me wonder because, like, there's a lot of people out there that talk about people being canceled and stuff and whatever, and like thought crime and this and that and the other thing. Like, there's words we can't say on here now
Yeah.
that it just get booted off of YouTube or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Which is terms of service, which is different.
Right.
I'm still allowed to think about stuff, but apparently, like, Jesus doesn't want us to even think about bad stuff,
Right.
or you go to purgatory forever, right?
Right.
Which is weird. Sounds like a weird vibe.
Yeah.
Why do I have to go to purgatory? Because I was thinking about.
I think you only go to purgatory if you're
Because I was thinking
Jewish.
about J-Lo. Like, why is she dancing around? Why is her butt sticking out? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh crap! Now I gotta go to purgatory.
Now, see, the thing is you just gotta do a little to the Jesus, and then you're absolved.
I gotta bow down to the Jesus.
You just gotta mentally say, "I'm so sorry," and then you're fine.
All right.
That's how.
All right.
That's the whole thing.
Wild.
You're just supposed to feel a little guilty about it. Say
I
you're
feel like
sorry
it-
mentally.
I feel like
and
it
then
kind
you-
of freaks me out that they're like, they know my thought crime. How does Jesus know my thought crime?
Oh well, because behold the power of cheese, man.
Behold, the power of the cheese. The wheel demands it.
Yes.
Excuse me. I have like a little bit of allergies going on. Because of my eye surgery, I can't do the nasal spray every once in a while. When the seasons change, I get like, you guys will hear me, I'm like,
Yeah.
like I have that. Like normally, during normal time this year, like I normally get like some boogers because it's like the seasons has changing. And I would just do like a nasal spray thing, but I can't do that because it dries my eyes out because of my eye surgery.
Oh,
It's very weird.
that is
I'm,
weird.
I'm living in the 21st century. It's very bizarre. I'm committing thought crime left and right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You and your
Jesus.
boogers.
Where's the crackers? So I think our other topic today was setting up and building a new fish room, because we talked yesterday about
yeah.
your project.
Yep.
It seems like that project's starting to come together. Which
We had you drive hours and hours all the way up to my house.
well, like you got to look at it at ground level and figure out what the hell's going on.
Right. Right.
And we have to do some structural repairs to your basement, which is fine. We're gonna handle it. It'll be done. We've got a plan. We got the engineering. We're waiting on some engineering, which turns out was pretty basic.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be fine.
I think we're at the point where we get to order stuff or do some calculations and then order stuff.
Yeah. So I looked up some of the parts we need for it yesterday, and it's one of those things. I think it's right around the $1,000 plus the other parts, so it's probably like $1,800 or whatever the heck it is. But I think it'll be much more reasonable than a $20,000 situation. So it should work out, and then after that, we're gonna start rolling downhill on the getting the planning and the plumbing and the blah and like setting up and building a fish room. There's two ways of going about it, and the most common way of people going about it is they just walk into a room, and then they just plop stands and tanks down, and then deal with the repercussions on the back end.
Deal with issues as they arise.
Yeah, as they arise, which is sort of very counterintuitive as far as I'm concerned. That's not really the way that you would want to go about handling that situation. I think you would definitely want to try to handle it in a different way. So we're gonna kind of jump into it with both feet here fairly soon. Probably make some videos about it. I think it'll only be members only and Patreon only, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't need everybody knowing all my business.
We
Just,
don't need everybody to
cool
know all
people.
your business. Just the cool kids.
Yeah.
The cool kids.
I like to invite people over, but not everybody.
All you folks out there committing thought crime.
Thought crimes. I
So-
can see you thought criming on my fishes.
One of the things I think the easiest way to explain it is that you're basically building a giant bathroom. You want drains, you want water, you want electrical to be near water. You have high humidity, so you want to deal with and figure out the methodology of dealing with high humidity. We actually talked about dehumidifiers. I think I talked about a little bit about them last week. There were a couple models that I put out there for you guys to maybe just take a look at and get your brain thinkings running wild. Which both Alyssa and I use the rollaway versions, although over the past couple years it's become more common for me to implement the ones that are inline vented dehumidifiers, which I don't understand what is going on here. Just go back to what I was looking at before. I'm stupid. Amazon's being dumb right now. I'm just trying to go back to the dehumidifiers I looked up. Dehumidifiers for large rooms or basements. That's what you want to look up.
Nice.
These rollaway ones are very common. You just definitely want to stick to making sure that you buy one that's reputable. But this type right here, these Aloha Air is Aloha Air. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but it's a Hawaiian company, believe it or not, as far as I know.
Aloe Rare?
That make these dehumidifiers that are inline for running a vent in and out. And these ones seem to work so much more effectively. And you get the added benefit of not having it to be in the same room. It doesn't have to be in the same room. You can actually put this somewhere, run it through a pipe, have it be inline, and it helps keep the area much more dehumidified, and it's quiet. That's the thing, because it's far away, right?
Yeah.
Because it's in the other room, or it's in the crawl space, or it's in the attic, or wherever you're installing it. So that's a very small version of the one that I even installed one at Corey's fish room. I hid it up in the attic, so I had to build all this crazy stuff up in his attic and then mount it up in there and then do all that. But that's a good example, of the kind of two options. But currently, I'm just running with this. I think it's a Frigidaire is the one that I have.
Yeah,
it's just
the one
more
that
of
I
like
got.
a reputable name that you kind of know, like, oh, it's a name brand that's been around a long time. If you go on to Amazon, you get all these kind of knockoff brands that exist, which is likely going to be fine. I do get a little bit worried about like the non-known name brands. Like this one's Vremi. I don't know what that is. This one's Hagar Labs. Hogar Labs. You know, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't know. So I just try to stick to kind of a name brand one. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. The one that I actually use. I know that this one's pretty confusing, and then the other one would be draining and getting the water in and out, which I think, as we were kind of talking about yesterday, I think our application is likely going to be like a sump tank and then pump water out, which I think would probably be interesting for a lot of people out there that don't have like a direct drain situation, which if you have a direct drain, it does kind of make things pretty easy because you're just plumb right into the drain and just send the water down the drain. But with this method, it's a little more, you could kind of put it anywhere, and then on top of it, you're not wasting all that water. You're just sending it down into the sewer system. And wasting it. Because
Right.
you could just spray it on your tomatoes and make your tomatoes grow out of the ground, and the next thing you know, bippity boppity boo, you got yourself a nice tomato sauce.
Right.
A sauce.
Yeah.
You got yourself a hot tomato sauce, and then what are you going to put on top of that hot tomato sauce?
Pasta. Oh, cheese.
Cheeses.
Yes.
Yes. That's how we tie it all together. Just going back to eating some cheeses. That's what I'm talking about. This show is now all about cheese. That's all we're ever going to talk about from here on out.
Everything's
Forever.
going to come back to it. Just so y'all know.
That's it. We're just coming back to cheese forever. I'm just going to be constantly talking about cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't wait to bring in a new camera for you.
A cheese camera.
Well, I am using this old camera
Yeah.
for Alyssa, and I'm excited because the lens was in stock, and then the lens went right out of stock, and then even though I've already paid for it, it didn't ship. It says it's still back ordered.
Oh, lame.
Yeah, it's like a total bummer. I was like, So, because Canon released a new lens that's like a really cheap version of the lens that I use over here. And I'm like, dude, that'll be perfect. It's just a static camera that doesn't have to go anywhere. Cool. That's a super cheap lens. Awesome. And then it came in stock, and apparently a lot of other people ordered it ahead of me because it went right out of stock, and mine didn't ship.
No.
And it sucks. This is one of the houses I was looking at. I'm not going to show it to you guys, but I'm going to show it to Alyssa at some point. Maybe right now. This is a nice looking house. What do you think?
Yeah, how much? It's got a lot of trees around it.
It's got trees around it, dude. I need trees. It's
Looks
got a
nice.
little river over here.
Ooh, separate garage.
Separate fish room.
Yeah.
That's a separate fish room. Yeah.
You don't even have
So-
to build the building.
I'm not planning on buying a place where I have to build the separate building.
Right.
Because here's the deal. I don't want to build a separate building. I mean, I do. I don't want to pay for building a separate building. Is more to the point. So
it just comes
if
with
we
the
are
property.
moving, we're trying to buy to a place. We're trying to buy into a place that has more property. That's our big caveat right now. Separate building that's already established. So that's my plan right now, because we're gonna do that. I had to meet with a bunch of realtors and stuff yesterday, which was a bummer. Even though I like those guys and it's good times, I feel like it's just a solid waste of like 5 hours, because
Yeah.
it's like get up, get ready for the realtors to come, and then just talk to them about my house and all the stuff I've done. Although the realtor I talked to yesterday is like, dude, this house is making me tired. And I was like, what? And he's like, all of the stuff that you've done here is ridiculous. It's making me feel tired, like I'm not doing anything and I'm not getting anything done. And I was like, sounds like a conversation you should have with your wife.
Right.
Yeah. Big D Smoke says, if I ever sell my house, I'll move out of country.
But I mean, that's your plan anyway.
Well,
buddy.
your son's full grown, so that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. Like, if I could relocate and, like, move to somewhere other than the States, I probably would do it. It just hasn't been feasible. It's not even remotely feasible. So any of the reasonable countries for me to move to, I don't have the qualifications for them to grant me a long-term visa or start the citizenship stuff.
Right.
I tried to move to Canada like 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And they were like, you don't have enough money.
Oh.
Yeah. They were like, you need to have more money if you want to move here. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you just need to have more money. And I was like, that's the problem? And they're like, yeah. Like, what is up with you people? You guys are weird. What's up with you Canadians? Do you guys have Jesus in your heart? You need to get Jesus in your heart. That must be the problem.
Pretty sure, don't they put cheeses on their poutine? Isn't that an integral part of it?
Yeah, but they must not have it in their heart.
I think if they eat enough of it, it'll get into their heart.
No, probably. They'll have a heart attack. Yeah, that's true. Heart disease. J-Rock says, I'm close to 40. I never wanted to leave. I want to move to Florida and work for Disney part-time. That is weird. That is a weird statement you just put together there. I don't necessarily want to leave, but I like leaving and coming back. But I also would like to... So, like, here's, for instance, my mom was talking about when they went to Spain. My mom spent like a year hiking the full distance of Spain on foot.
Oh, I remember you were talking about that
Yeah.
at one point.
Well, maybe not a year, 8 months, I think, something like that. I don't know. It was a long time. They were gone for a long time, and they were cruising around Spain. And one of the things with Spain is that, so they have a high rate of highly educated Utes there, right? The Utes are highly educated because it's all basically promoted and state funded and stuff. So the kids get master's degrees and doctorates and stuff. And what ended up happening is that there were a lot of the farms that started getting conglomerated into these big companies, these big corporations. And then what they didn't do in the States, but they did do in Spain, was they stopped allowing these corporations from just like incorporating all of these small farms as the older generation died out, right? And so they actually have a lot of farms that are being maintained by the state or whatever, but they don't have anybody to live there. So it's a very interesting thing where it's like you as like an American could come there and buy in on like a fairly sizable property and then live there and farm and stuff for a really reasonable rate. It's like a crazy big farm for like $100,000 or something. And but that rate is super low because they want people to move in there and continue the farming and stuff. And so it was like actually kind of a really interesting situation where you're kind of like, well, that's kind of what I want to do. It's just in Spain, but not in the U.S., right? And you're like, I don't know, maybe that's an option. I don't know, maybe we'll check it out. But it was like, that's a desirable, like, that might be worth a thinking about. But also at the same time, I probably would want to do that for like 10 years or something, and then maybe do something else, instead of doing it for 40 years and then dying.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you'd end up being pretty old trying to working on the land.
Right.
But yeah, it makes sense.
It'd be cool as hell to work in those animatronics or maintain their aquariums. You know what? I've never seen Disney's aquarium, so I'm not sure what they're like. But I will tell you that working at a giant aquarium, unless you're like super marine biologist, multiple doctorate guy, you're probably just going to be doing maintenance.
Yeah,
which
probably.
is almost just like having a maintenance job at any factory type
But
place.
If that's the kind of thing that you want to do, then rock on, do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't.
Yeah.
I would imagine that people's expectations are a little bit different than.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'd be maintaining the whole big aquarium. It's like, no, you're one of 50 workers that just need to go over there and unwrench that thing, and then put in the thing, and then wrench it together, and then take it apart, and then blah 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 blah. Yeah.
I've only been to Disney World once, and I was like, I don't know, 10 years old at the time.
Right.
But I do remember there
Disney.
was one giant aquarium at some like restaurant inside the park that we ate at. And but at the time I was mostly just like ecstatic to get this big bowl of blue raspberry flavored juice with a plastic dolphin sticking in it, which I'm sure if I was an adult it would have been an adult beverage with blue curacao in it. But it was basically just like blue Hawaiian punch.
Right.
It was really delicious, and it has now spawned my, like, if I go to get an icy at the movie theater, it's got to be blue.
It's got to be blue
Every single time, because
Gotta
it
be blue.
reminds me of Disney World when I was 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I remember the blue dolphin, and I
got-
wish I still had it.
So you basically got Walt Disney living in your head rent free.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeez.
But only whenever there's a blue icy machine.
Can you imagine that? Can you just imagine Walt Disney living in your head rent free? That guy's just in there
Yeah.
messing around with your brain
Being all
parts.
like frozen or
Can
whatever.
We trust him? Can we trust him?
No, he's dead, man.
We got a
You
frozen
can't
head.
trust dead
He's
people.
got his head frozen
They're
somewhere.
dead. They
They're
don't have
gonna
any
thaw it out.
stake in the game.
They got his body frozen. He's on ice. He's on the cryo freeze, bro. They're gonna
Maybe.
thaw him out, and he's gonna make a super racist movie or something. I don't know.
Eesh.
Aubrey Wright says, I bought a 5-acre lot about 10 years ago, but I've never known where to start building. Okay. First things first. Get your land surveyed. Second thing, contact the power company and see if you can get power dropped onto the land. With the survey, you'll be able to go to septic design and where you'll be able to build on the lot. So then you'll be able to go to like the county planning or the city planning or whoever is your planner's office, and say, like, hey, where can I build a building? How big can I build a building? What can I do on my property? And they'll have a bunch of material for you that you'll be able to go like, oh, okay. And then I'll contact this guy, and once you have the land surveyed, they'll know to come in and do the septic design, figure out like where things can go, and then just a cascading effect from that of like, oh, here's a whole bunch of ideas I have now. One of the crazy things about building houses now, the thing that used to be the most expensive thing around was basically getting a design for your house, so getting the architectural drawings and the design, and being able to take that to the planner's office and go like, this is the house I want to build, and getting it approved, and then going like moving forward. Whereas now that costs about $1,000 to buy like the best drawings, maybe even less. I think last time I looked it up for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom kitchen with a garage underneath it. I think that all the design and drawings was like $400. So it's like you could just buy them, download the PDF, print them out, take them to the planner's office, and be like, "Where can I put this on the lot?" And they'll go like, "Well, have you done your survey?" And you'd be like, "Hey." But if you have the
Be
survey,
right back.
they can go. You can go boop, hand them the survey, and then go like, "Okay, in these areas you can put it." Figure out your septic design, and then go from there. But yeah, once you have that kind of information to work on, you really know like what is possible, what they'll allow. And one of the things is, in the past, many moons ago, people would just start building stuff and get away with it because then the thing would just be built, and they'd be like, "Well, I don't know. There's a thing here." But nowadays, we have a thing called satellites. You ever seen Google Maps and you look at the satellite picture? Mm-hmm. That's what the guys do now. When they're looking around to see if there's unpermitted buildings, they just look around for new roofs via the satellite imaging. And they're like, "Oh, there's a new roof on this at this address." And then somebody will drive out there to go take a look at what it is. And you're like, "Oh, it's just a lean-to. Like somebody put up a carport."
Yeah.
Like one of those tarp carports. They'll be like, don't worry about that. But if they're like, "Hey, there's a new house here. What the hell?"
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Hey, we got to talk to somebody and figure out what's going on here." Jay's Crazy Obsessions has been way too long since I was able to watch live. Well, hey, man, you can watch live. You can watch not live. You can do whatever you like. Welcome to YouTube.
Welcome back, though, to live.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to live streams.
Let's see. What do we got in the chat here other than, speaking of, I got to take my son to work really quick. BRB, LOL.
Oh, okay.
BRB, LOL.
It's
Word.
nice that Dennis keeps driving his kid to work. But,
If I recall, I think his son doesn't have his driver's license yet.
oh, well, that's got to happen. Maybe. Or maybe it doesn't.
These millennials waiting to get their license later in life.
Those young kid millennials.
That's what I did. I'm not a millennial. I waited till later. I just rode my bicycle everywhere.
Really?
I
got mine.
I got my license when I was 20.
I was first in my friend group to get my license. And the first one to get a car, which made me very popular for a little while.
Right.
Yeah, I got all the parties and stuff. Get to hang out a lot. Then everybody else got a car, and that kind of died down.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like spike? Oh my God. Should we hit the like spike? I don't even know if we can. We've got 1 million likes. I don't even know if we could go over 1 million. Is it possible? I don't know. Big D, we can get ribeyes all day here. Finding a bone is rare. Finding a porterhouse, only a meat market, not in the... Okay. Not in the grocery store. Okay. So, yeah, it's hard to find bone-in stuff at the store unless you go to a butcher. It's just pretty common.
I mean, I find T-bones at Safeway.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find, like, T-bones and stuff like that, but you won't find any of the legit, like, you want to make...
Right.
You want to make 400 gallons of pho? There's no bones there.
No.
They ain't got no bones at the grocery store. You got to go to the butcher.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm scrolling through the chat here to see if there's anything we didn't address. This keyboard sucks. Well, yeah, true. From your other comments, it looks like your keyboard is malfunctioning. And I agree. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we were talking about steak and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just got wild. Zelfernide. Oh, we missed Zelf.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe they're still here. Almost 33 months for Big D Smoke. Yeah, that's right. He's almost 33 months.
I don't know how long I've been.
Zelf says, once I got a 40-gallon breeder during the $1 sale in Hawaii. Had to do it through the website the next year, and ever since it's unavailable. Yeah, the $1 per gallon sale is chilling out because I think they're realizing that there are a lot of people that just come in and buy the tanks super cheap and then they leave because they're like, yeah, this store sucks. Rumbust with a 2712 Swedish kroner super chat, which is how many days I've been sober, 1,712. Very much appreciate it. Always a great reminder for me to give out the message that, like, hey, man, if you want to make a change in your life, you certainly can. Even if it is as difficult as you think is getting sober. Like, yeah, sure, it's work and stuff like that, but there's help out there. People willing to help you out along the way of doing some hard work. But it is possible. It is possible. I donated my kiln to the local community art center. They said I could get things fired for free. Dang, dude.
And then you don't have to smell the kiln
Yeah, then
smell.
you don't even have to deal with the kiln or power it or any of that stuff. You just donate one to a local club, and then they're like, you can use it whenever you want. You're like, gotcha. Gotcha.
Mow my plants.
Which would be dope, you know? Yeah, you just like, oh, I don't have to pay that electric bill no more or nothing. You're like, got him.
Yep.
Too late. I've already smooched the like button. Oh, man, when you give that like button a little chef's kiss, we love it.
A little.
Elephanto King Superb. All right. Strong. That's a strong name. Elephanto King Superb.
Heck yeah.
Has a question. I dissolve my Seachem safe in about a cup of water before I dose it into my aquarium. So far, no issues. So I'm assuming it's doing its job. Thoughts?
If it's working.
My assumption is... My assumption would be I've never tested your water before and have no clue what's going on in your aquarium. But my assumption would be it's working because I've never bought a non-functioning bottle of safe. But I would test, and then that would verify your assumptions. With verifiable information, you'd be able to be like, boom, look, it's working. And then you'd go like, yeah, no longer need to assume. Always good to have a notebook. I don't really like notebooks. I like a whiteboard where I can write things down. Because normally I write things on the whiteboard, then take a picture of it with my phone. But at some point in time, we'll have a better system than that. When will that be? I don't know. At some point in time, you know, me and my boys, we out here working on something that might be a better solution for you. When will that be done? I don't know. I don't know when that'll happen. But we'll try to sell it to you when it's done.
Yeah. All I can say is, man, whatever it is that I'm trying to keep notes on, it better not be paper or absorbent.
Right. Well, I'm realizing the fault of my ways is that I always thought like there would be enough members and subscribers and stuff like that to just be like, let's go independent. But that didn't happen. So now I'm just going to start developing products and sell you crap that you probably don't need. Because that seems to be the way that everyone makes money in America.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So just be like, I guess I just have to do that and just sell stuff to people.
Hey, when I was at Fishtoberfest, Justin ended up having to work that day, and so I was like, well, I guess I'm doing nothing. Might as well drive down to Portland and see what this Fishtoberfest is all about, right? There was a lady selling those terracotta plant spikes for $8 each. And I was like, you selling the terracotta plant watering spikes for $8 each? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, respect. Did you know you can get them in white? And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, up your game, lady.
You're all, here's the Amazon link for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give her any money, but I did give her a tip.
Yeah. Hot tip. Order the ones that aren't easy to find on Amazon.
Right.
Yeah. 503 Aquatics is lurking while grocery shopping. Thanks for being awesome. Well, you're very welcome. Jay's Crazy says, if you have a tank for sale and you see someone purchasing the same tank for the money or for more money, is it weird to say something? I don't know. That sounds like such a specific like situation. I mean, it sounds like a Facebook situation that like you probably posted a tank for sale on Facebook and somebody else was buying the same tank somewhere else or something. I don't know. It sounds weird. It sounds weird. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to like sneak in and steal someone else's sale,
Right. It's one of those things.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we're just full-on capitalist psychos here in America, so maybe it's cool.
I mean, the way that I would think about it is if somebody is buying a new tank,
Right.
like at the $1 per gallon sale, for instance, since we've been talking about that, and Jay is selling the exact same footprint of tank, but it's a used tank for less than the $1 per gallon sale. Maybe the person who's buying the new tank just wants the assurance of having a new tank because they don't
Oh, you're saying at Petco.
at Petco.
I mean, I don't know that I would want to talk to anybody at Petco,
Yeah.
even the people that work there. I don't really necessarily want to talk to anybody at a store. I don't know. But I guess if you want to try to strike up sales at someone else's store,
I would just think
I mean,
that
I
was
guess that's fine, but
way
it seems
too weird. Like I don't know. I don't like talking to random customers as they're trying to shop.
Right.
It's People who are looking for used tanks are looking for used tanks. People who are at the Petco are looking for their new tanks. That's pretty much it.
Well, I guess it's Petco's loss or whatever. I don't know. I don't try to talk to anybody because you just never know who you're going to encounter.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what I'm talking about, go back to the beginning of the stream and hear my rant about the weird people I live near. It's a good example of just like, what the F, and you're going to run into people at the grocery store that are weird too. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you're like looking for a date or something. I don't know.
Ugh.
I guess
Yeah.
that's a place where you could look for people to like maybe go out and have some sandwiches or something, but I don't know that I'd
maybe.
want to try to sell anybody at a store on anything.
Yeah. I will say a thing that I keep seeing now since with the $1 per gallon sale is people purchasing the $1 per gallon sale tanks and then putting them up on Facebook Marketplace for like twice as much.
Mm.
They just buy them and then post them. They don't use them.
Right.
They just do the resale markup. And I'm like, I see what you're doing.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's not like a business strategy.
But I think, don't shops do that sometimes too? I mean,
Well, stores do that because,
they can't get it for less at the wholesaler.
well, yeah. So, like, a good example was, what was it at the time? I think it was the 40 breeders. I think that's what it was. Like, wholesale, I think they were like $63, and then the $1 per gallon, they were 40 or something like that. And you were like, huh? And so we drove around to all the stores and bought all the 40 breeders and then stocked them into the store and sold them for like $129 or something. Yeah, it was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It makes it almost not worth it to carry the standard rimmed tanks in a local fish store.
Right.
Unless you live like miles and miles away from a Petco or PetSmart.
Elefanto is asking about the new Ranger Pleco from Peru, originating from the Nanay River. And I've actually been in the Nanay River. I went there. And no, I haven't seen this Pleco yet. This is the first time I've looked it up. Yeah, I haven't seen this one before, but I'll look into it for sure. Who brought it in? Aqua Imports. Aqua Imports is selling them for $13.
Cute.
The new pleco, man, I don't even know how to say that.
Terracotta.
So if they're out of the Nanai, they're going to be low pH fish, lots of leaf litter and whatnot. I was shocked how acidic how low the pH was in the Nanai.
Is it low enough pH where your skin itches when you just get when it's in there enough?
It's low enough pH that mosquitoes can't breed in it. But the water's gross there, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's jungly, bro. It's jungly. All right, we've been at this for like 2 hours. We got no new members, but we did get some super chats, so let's give a shout out to the super chatters. Fish Tank Barn, Rum Bust, and Big D Smoke, I think, is the total super chats of the day, I think. I don't know.
I think so. That's
But
what I've noticed.
No new members, and we got to check the patron. Did we get any new Patreon new patronizers? Nope, we didn't get any new patronizers. So that's Alyssa. She's our pleco specialist. I don't know, whatever. Alyssa's dope, and she's the co-host with me on Fridays. So hopefully you guys come back on a Friday, and hopefully you guys become a member, so we can start cutting checks to Alyssa for showing up, and we can start producing more content, so we have more time to do it. Words and stuff and things that are inspirational, and like a thing about
Feed your fish.
Calls to action. We got to do stuff and subscribe or I don't know.
Feed your fish. They're hungry.
Welcome to YouTube. Thanks for coming out. That's today's show. I'm going to hit the mute button. As soon as we go over here, we're going to hit the mute button. As soon as I hit this, the end.